favorite.
Ooh.
I was waiting for you guys to keep going, and then you stopped.
Well, I was gonna keep going, but you broke out your vibrato there. You were.
I was waiting for you to keep going. I'm a follower.
Today is a good day because we're still talking about Jake's top 10. That's right.
The best top 10.
I disagree with that, but we'll see.
Yeah, sorry. The best top 9.
Best top. Change your mind already. All right, we'll see. We'll see. I was literally about to ask. See, this is Jake's number 7 favorite.
Number 7th? Is it? I thought it was 6.
7.
It's 7? Oh, man.
Jerry,
7.
you're looking at the list, right?
Yup.
It's number 7.
7.
Out of all the movies
Yeah.
you have ever seen, what is your 7th favorite movie?
Guys, let me tell you something here. This is my newest of the movie, meaning most recent, of the movies on this list.
Youngest. Maybe is that the better way to say it?
Most
Kinda.
recent.
Most recent.
Most recent. That being said, it's 10 years old. So 2013. Few things you need to know about 2013, Jake. Was this early in the year 2013, Jake? I feel like it was.
Come out.
I feel like it was like a January, February
I
movie.
feel like it was.
Definitely feels like an early release.
I'm going to guess that we saw it. Yeah, it was released on Christmas. So I'm guessing we saw it in January 2014.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That checks
Okay,
out.
that makes even more sense. Okay, so January 2014, Jake. 3 things you got to know about him. He was sad. He was lost.
Weren't we all?
He was stupid girls.
And he was a lot nicer to Jared.
Yeah, but who could be nice to Jared for that long?
A very good point.
It's okay. It's okay. I can be nicer to you for longer than I can be to Dickie.
Okay, I'll take that. But anyway,
Keep
Jared,
going.
You go cry. You go cry.
You say it.
Anyway, this is a movie I saw, and I just really connected with it. And
Should I shed more light on that?
Oh, you
that
want me to tell you what the
experience?
movie is?
Should I shed
I
more
mean,
light on the
people collect-
experience at all before you say the movie title? Without me
People-
saying it?
I
I'm just
will
wondering.
say,
Sure,
people
go ahead.
quite literally
Yeah.
clicked
Yeah.
on this.
I don't want to
episode.
cut
They
you off,
know
but there is a
what-
little more to it because in late 2013, because Jake was single and of course I'm single, and
Aaron was single at the
Aaron was
time.
single at the time. The three of us went to a lot of movies from about like October, November 2013 to about like February, March 2014.
The last one was Grand Budapest.
Yeah,
that
which
March?
that was March. So in that span of time, we went to the theater a lot. And it got to the point where we ran out of movies to go see during what would be Christmas break for me. So early January, probably the first week of January. It's like, what do we go see? Well, blank movie is in theaters. I only know a little bit about it. Let's go see it. And we all really liked it. I don't know. It's one of those big surprises you have where you're
Yeah,
like,
it's one of the ones. It's one of those ones where you don't expect it to be good, and like if you look at it at face value, I don't know that it is very good. Like if you just look at it like surface level, I don't know. I don't know if it's a movie if you don't connect with it, if it really is good for that particular person. Yeah. We'll get to your idiocy.
We'll get to me.
it.
what's the movie, Jake?
The movie
Clicked on
is
the episode. They know what the movie is.
Shut up,
the
Google.
movie is the 2013 version, directed by Ben Stiller himself, Walter Mitty, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which, I'm sorry, I'm going to get this out of the way right now, has one of the best soundtracks in a movie.
It's a
Great soundtrack.
It took me a minute to remember that Why I Was Dirty Paws was one of my favorite songs.
Yep.
Yeah.
While I was watching it the other day, I found
Of
myself
Monsters,
shazamming much of the soundtrack.
That's a damn good song.
To
It
be
is a
noted
damn-
of Monsters and Men who sing Dirty Paws, they're from Iceland. That's why they were picked.
I did not know that.
Other than they're good.
Yeah. That's a cool
So
fact.
this is the second time I've watched this movie this year. I watched it in January because we were trying to fill out the top 10s, and I was like, what was the one it replaced? Do you remember? Oh, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a lot of childhood connection, but I don't know that I really like love it.
And we had just watched it at the end of last year.
For our favorite something.
I think it was
It
one
was
of the
Western,
it's Clint
right?
Eastwood.
Was it what? Clint Eastwood?
Clint
or
Eastwood.
Yeah.
It was Clint Eastwood, I believe. So it's like we did just watch it. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, I don't think it's a top 10 anymore.
Yep. So what I would like to do is I wrote a very, not a very in-depth review, just a very quick synopsis of my feelings on Letterboxd. And I'm just going to read it real quick. Ready for this? This is one of my favorite films of all time. Going back and watching my top 10 favorite movies, I was a little scared to watch this. I was genuinely afraid that I wouldn't like that I would like it significantly less than 26-year-old me. I'm happy to report that's not the case. It's not a hot take for me to say that my favorite movies are ones that make me see myself on the screen. Relatable, yes, but at least in my head, this feeling goes a bit further. Watching Walter go from a man who shut himself in his mind because of an event that happened in his life to, because of an event that happened and forced him to make a decision, to someone who can shift his perspective and his choices is an amazing thing to watch. It definitely reflects how I perceive the progression of my life going, if not a little bit more bombastic. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty may not be a masterpiece among the pantheon of movies like Star Wars, The Godfather, Casablanca, or any other of the juggernauts of film. And it may only be a small and mostly understated story, but it's a story about what is possible when you shift your perspective and the hope that action offers. I would pick that type of movie any day.
You cry, Dickie?
I don't know.
Anyway, I love this movie. Again, I think we've talked about it a couple times. I love movies that involve a character breaking out of what they perceive their world to be, and also I relate to that kind of shut in.
Introverted.
Yes, the reason I relate to this is a similar reason to why, if you watched our favorites, I picked A Kid in the King Arthur's Court. It's because when I play baseball, I don't actually play baseball. I imagine a adventure in my head. Same thing with this. Going back and watching it again, I still love it. I see it. I'm also a journalism major, so the whole framing device of time ending its run of print.
It's time and life.
No, it's time.
Oh,
It's time life. It's both.
Time life.
it's both.
Time and life. Yep.
Okay.
I thought
Even
it was,
though the print magazine for Life had shut down in 2000, I thought I read they resurrected it like that for a story. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
But that sort of like, I got out of college like at the start of the big shift in journalism to what it is now.
Real quick, what was your major?
Journalism and communication.
Doesn't that just suck? It's like you pick that and you're excited, and then
Yeah.
everything shifts.
Oh, and what's funny is that when I picked it, it happened very quickly. When I picked it was still a viable option.
That would have been about 04?
04, 05.
Okay.
I can relate to that a little bit because I was picking I wanted to be a film major because
Because
think
of
when
the
I was-
tax cuts.
I was about to say when
And
I
guess
was
what happened to
super
those
in-
tax cuts? Your freshman year of college, my sophomore year. They're gone. They're just all gone.
Yeah, and
Bye-bye.
then no one wants to make a movie in Michigan.
Except Michael Bay, who's a jerk apparently,
Doesn't
from sources.
surprise me that much, honestly.
Yeah.
But
His
I was
hair's
just saying,
ugly.
I can absolutely relate because I feel the same.
But like so, and then like even a lot of other movies we've talked about, like Boss Baby. Like this reminds me a lot of Boss Baby, or Boss Baby reminds me a lot of it.
That's why I don't like it that much.
Maybe, but
You
like,
don't see. You're a doer. Yeah, you're not a dreamer. You're a doer.
he's not a doer right now. You shouldn't talk about it.
I usually try to.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
usually
Here's the
try
thing.
to refrain from profanity, but you, Jake.
If it helps you.
The softer the cushion, the
Sam, he
sweeter
misses
the
you deeply.
pushing.
Listen, I had to replace my lotion the other night.
I think, getting back on track, I think
We're really paranoid.
Dickie doesn't relate to movie characters who are more introverted because you are the most extroverted person I have ever met. I do not mean that
that's
as a
valid.
bad thing,
No, absolutely.
nor do I mean that as a good thing. It is a neutral term.
It's just a
I
fact.
just think
It's just a
you
statement.
watch this and you're like, yeah, he's coming out of a shell because you were born outside the shell. That's why you're so soft. That works in multiple ways. Don't drink anything, Jake. You're going to spit it everywhere. So that's why I think you don't relate to his character because for you it's like, hey, that's good.
That's
Whereas
exactly what I
me
think.
and Jake are introverts, and seeing someone break out of their shell and do stuff like that when they've put their mindset is inspiring.
I think
Because we've been in those situations where we've had to get out of comfort zones and do stuff, and it's scary. But watching him do it and see how it positively benefits him, that's just very, what's a good word?
Relatable.
Relatable, hopeful.
I
That's what
see
it is.
myself, like I said, I see myself in this movie. I watch him and I say, I did that when I'm not 42, but when I was in that mindset, I did that. Like in late 2013, I did that to escape some like significant stuff that happened in my life.
And for those wondering, now we always implore you to watch the movies that I think we mentioned them at the end of episodes. So we hope you watched it. And if you didn't, the big event in Walter's life is that his dad suddenly died when he was a teenager at 17. So he was forced to stop doing some of his like he was a big skateboarder, and he stopped
was
that
forced-
to get a job.
Yeah,
to
he
help
was forced
support
to
the
make a
family.
decision to stop to help his family. And like, what are you going to do? Not help your family?
Which really quick,
Yep.
do we think that Ben Stiller actually knew how to skateboard, or they used like a stunt double for
No,
that?
that,
that
was,
was a
that was a
stunt
stunt double. It was out of focus, Dickie.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he had his face turned.
I would just be
The,
curious.
the better question is, and I think we've come to a conclusion, but the better question is, was he imagining that or wasn't he?
I think it's real.
I interpreted.
I think it's real as well.
Yes. Because then he went to bring on the skateboard back for the rich.
Yeah.
And that was like really, really sweet. That was really nice.
That interaction with those, what was it, Iceland at the time?
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Iceland.
That was-
Those Icelandic
He
kids was
thinks
funny.
it's the name of a road, and they're like, he doesn't know what that is.
No.
the dude in the Jeep. Erection! Eruption!
Erection.
No, it's
what?
erection. Eruption.
Dickie's watching that like, erection! I got you, man.
That's the most relatable character for That is a really, really sweet moment that guy went after him.
It's so
such a
real.
sweet-
Like
Yeah.
that's what I appreciate. Like the journey part of this, it's so. I mean, yeah, even jumping out of a helicopter, it's so real.
Into the water and
No.
fighting a shark.
So he jumps up. No, the other boat.
No,
Now, the one thing I'll say about him going with the pilot, like the whole thing is supposed to be,
That-
he's not going out of his comfort zone.
That was maybe
And
a
he
little
does.
dangerous. I'm
That's
not
why I was
gonna
thinking,
lie.
like,
I mean,
okay,
that's-
this is called, I don't want to get into a helicopter with a drunk pilot with a storm coming in.
that seems pretty
That's the only,
reasonable
so it's
to
like,
me.
I can understand it.
But if you notice, this is the last time he daydreams until he goes back and gets that trauma.
Yep.
Well, no, the birds thing. The birds thing is in between those two, I guess. But it's the last like big one that like takes him out of the world.
Yeah, because just about everything after that is him on his journey.
I will say I did. So I never read it, but I was talking with Sam about this, and it's based off a short story.
Mm-hmm.
What
Written by, I had it just a second ago, I lost his name, James Thurber.
I would be very curious to read the short story and see how closely. This
I
movie
don't
is
think
suited.
it's
Not
it's
very.
that
Not
close.
very.
I would guess that the movie, there's another movie of this. I don't know what you're.
So there is a Secret Life of Walter Mitty with Danny Kaye. I'm looking up the year because I can't remember. I feel like it's like 1940. It's got to be in the.
Interesting.
That's better than what I was going to say. I was going to say 63.
Oh, it's 47.
That's way off of
And-
what
and
I was going to say.
And I saw it. I think it was last year in like January. So it's been a long time, and all I remember is
Maybe that's what
Yeah.
made me want to watch this one.
maybe. Of course, it was a year after I watched it.
No, you said last. Oh, that's right. It was this year,
2022.
January. Okay.
Yeah. I watched it, and I liked it. It's very different because it's a lot more of a slapstick comedy of errors. He's a daydreamer, and it gets him into trouble with like spies and espionage. So it's like he has these elaborate dream sequences, and when he like snaps back to it, the situation has progressed. If I remember, and like he's basically getting further into trouble without meaning to, and it's playing off of Danny Kaye's strengths as being very, very funny, very good physical actor, and very good just like joke wise and stuff. Like that's just Danny Kaye in a nutshell, and playing different characters like that suits his style. And it's nice to see stuff like this where it's a remake technically of the source material, but it has nothing to do with that other
It's
one.
the way a remake should
Yeah,
be done.
Save the namesake. Yeah, it's not supposed. When you compare them, it's kind of impossible to because they're so different. And I like them both about equally for different reasons. But this one, I think I would, if I had to pick, I would pick this one.
Interesting.
It is more accessible. It is better. I wonder if I watch the other one again, I might think a little less because like okay, maybe it's kind of faded a bit. Whereas this one, I hadn't seen the sense going to the theaters with Jake and them. And it's like, yeah, that's about how I feel about it still.
Nice. I will say, watching this, I know neither of you guys have watched the TV show Severance, but it is also directed by Ben Stiller.
Doesn't that have that guy in it from?
Adam Scott
Yes, and Adam Scott is also in it. Yeah.
with the fakest looking beard in this movie.
Ridiculous.
And they bring it up.
That's a fake beard. I thought it was just made to look
1,000%.
stupid.
Maybe.
It probably is real, but it looks weird on him. I don't know. It's like a different color than his hair.
It is.
I didn't notice that, but
But I was gonna say, I can genuinely think for those of you that have watched Severance and have not seen this, or if you've seen this and not watched Severance, you can clearly see Ben Stiller's directing style. He's really good at keeping at doing like a lot of negative space. He's really good at using that. He's really good at using just perspective and like putting things in corners and stuff
So
like that. Like,
speaking of stuff like that, didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to say this before you complete your thought because I think my thought is going to piss you off and it's going to make me laugh.
oh, let's go.
I told you this earlier this morning. For me, this is kind of like Wes Anderson light for a lot of it because
I
the
can see
blocking
it.
is very, very like there's a ton of leading lines. There's a ton of space and people's with their heads just in the corner and. I just like it's not a Wes Anderson movie by any stretch of the imagination, but like the block, like is that what it's called? Blocking.
That's more framing. Blocking is like how actors move in the frame.
Okay, so framing then.
Yeah, but I completely agree, and I really do think Ben Stiller, when he was directing this, he remembered what worked and how well it worked. Then he took that.
Oh, you mean from like Royal Tenenbaums?
No, I'm just saying like he learned his lessons from this movie, and then he brought it into Severance.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's so crazy to me that Ben Stiller is a talented director. He really is, and I appreciate that.
This is also the only movie that I like the bridesmaids girl from.
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's not going "Ugh," the whole time. Oh, I wanted to push her off a cliff in Bridesmaids. What a terrible person in that movie.
It's a fun movie though.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
It is me staring at the screen going, why are you such a terrible friend? Why are you the most annoying thing on the face of the earth? Why is this movie made? It's not made
That's
for
kind
me.
of how I feel about Power of the
No,
Dog.
Yeah, it's not made for me. I get that this is for a specific demographic, but at least make your characters likable. Like, at least that.
This does have one of your favorite needle drops you were telling me.
Yes. I'm watching the movie and I'm like, okay, it's about what I thought. Like it took a bit to get going that first time, thinking like, when you're figuring out where it is, and then once this time going, I have kind of a good idea of how things work in the movie. The scene that does it is when he decides to take matters into his own hands and go to Greenland, and Wake Up starts playing.
Yep. When
You
he's
just
running
hear
in
that-
front of the
Yeah,
posters.
you hear the dun like that.
See, I love that because they slowly transition into being him in the covers.
Yeah. Wait, you said this came out in 2013?
13.
Yeah.
The music checks out. The music's so much sense. It makes so much sense as to why I like the music. in this.
2010's music is just better.
It like that's the like late 2000s, 2010s. That's what I grew up with. Soft spot in my heart for that.
If I
2008
also
to 2012 is like linchpin era for me.
2008 to I would say 08 to like 014. Like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're like
those-
a baby compared to me.
yeah, those years.
I was gonna say the other song I really
I mean,
like
by
is
2012, I had graduated from college.
Did you see what he just did?
What?
I said like 2/3 of a sentence, and then you just cut me off.
I mean, it's my favorite movie, bro.
I know, it was funny. I started talking, and all of a sudden you just went back to the way you're talking.
Sure, you had something to say?
I would say the other song I really like
So anyway, the thing I like about Walter Mitty.
is when he's skateboarding, and I think it's... What is the song playing? Is that the Dirty Paws?
Paws?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another one.
La, la.
And oh my goodness, Iceland and Greenland look beautiful.
I was watching that scene very specifically, and I'm thinking, man, they just bought a drone and they're having the time of their lives.
That was when drones were in their infancy too. I think.
I would bet. Yeah. So like all the just the sweeping, the moving, him skating down, the bounds in the back. It is beautiful.
There's also just something really badass about seeing the photographer on an airplane like that.
plane.
Like I know it's fake. Like I'm not.
Was that a
I saw,
biplane? Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you gotta be kidding me! Like, of
But
course
it's just such a cool idea.
That's the other part that, like, while I did not connect to Ben,
Stiller.
that's what I was about to say. Gee, while I did not connect to his character, and so I thought I didn't like love the movie with you guys. I can still see that it was well put together and it's a fun movie. I just don't like it as much as you guys do, but it's like it's okay in my book. But the person that really makes me laugh is Sean Penn because of that what you were saying, him on top of there, and just like when we finally meet him, and he's such like
He's such a chill dude.
Yeah.
See, I found that I relate to him more this time than I ever have. Because when he doesn't take a picture of the ghost cat and goes, sometimes I see a moment and
just wanna live in
it's just mine.
What is the
I feel that in my bones. That's why I don't.
That is a
like,
good line. That was a very good
beautiful things don't ask for attention?
Yep.
That's the big line everyone brings up.
Yep. And I feel that in my bones. And it's kind of why I don't, I am a pseudo videographer and photographer and all that. And I don't run around with my camera. And just like when I was younger, I used to run around with the camera, just take pictures of dumb stuff and like, look at this, isn't it good?
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that really good. Like I'm obviously for hire. If anybody wants to.
Yes, he's
photographer,
actually
videographer.
good at it. We.
Please,
As long as he doesn't talk.
I was gonna say we are all actually good at it. I just don't do it as annoyingly as I used to.
Yeah, I was gonna say because oh my god, I don't want to go into a whole spiel on this, but like my
Here we
family is
go.
always.
Let's
whenever-
go. Let's go.
Are we gonna go?
We're here. We're talking about
We're-
family stuff anyway in this movie.
I mean, this
Might
is
as
a
well.
big family movie.
Quite literally every time.
See that? I see some dirty laundry coming.
Every time that we go on like the big one was we went to Yellowstone together,
And your dad took 27,000 photos.
I did.
And you, let me guess, you wanted to be on the trip, not watching the trip.
Well, I was so like, they were annoyed with because it was me and Sam. We are very similar, very very similar in this manner, where we are not like my dad and sister. Respect to them, they like to hustle. They work their way up to the mountain, they work their way back, and that's what they enjoy. But me, more like Sean Penn, where I want to walk 5 minutes, enjoy a scene. And usually I will take the picture because I enjoy the scene. I walk 5 minutes, take a picture. So I'm here just slowly making my way, enjoying all the scenery, enjoying all the scenes.
And
I will say that when you like
So yeah, that's my relationship.
when you take someone on like a photography date, let's say like, okay, we're gonna go wander around and take pictures. the person without the camera is always significantly less patient.
Yep, 1,000%. 1,000%. So yeah, I feel Sean Penn. I really do. I really do.
That picture, that black and white picture of him at Walter's work, where he like turns and goes,
That is such a good.
creepy.
I love it.
That's crazy,
It's just
man.
it's just so
out.
slow. I love
And it's
it.
like this, and his face is all like, yeah. I was like,
what's wrong
"Ugh,
with that?"
I don't know. It's unsettling to me.
But he's imagining it, and he very clearly is
know.
imagining it.
It's the speed at
not
which
a-
Sean Penn
yeah.
moves. He just like, come here.
And he's
Like,
got that pointed nose.
It's just,
But it's so good.
It's uncanny. I'm gonna bring back the word uncanny. It just feels weird to me.
See,
can't-
I just love like because. Okay,
It's like Jacob Marley's head on the door knocker thing where you go,
that's
"Whoa,
that's a little different.
screw.
he ripped off his jaw in that. Anyway, I mean, I relate to that because it I've imagined that type of shit before. Like I've seen things moving in pictures, whether it's not I'm losing my mind or not, I don't know. But I've imagined things moving in pictures like that. Like, yes, I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. I promise.
You good? Should we really call?
But just like you, like I stood in front of a mirror and narrated my life.
I mean, who
Narrated,
hasn't?
but like, so then why don't you relate to that? Like, that's what's happening.
Well, no, I know that's what's happening. It's not why it's happening. It's the way that it looks that just doesn't get me.
Apparently, everything in Dickie's imagination is perfect. Moves just fluid the way he wants it to.
It doesn't move like, come here.
It's not like that though.
The inside of his mind is like Moomin Land, where everyone's just this cuddly little animal that smiles and talks, except when, of course, that comet's
Yeah,
gonna wipe
well-
him out.
Yeah, and then also you wave at mirrors.
That is true. That's very true.
I'm being polite. Yeah, but I wave like this or like this.
No.
Not
I saw it.
We're making this face.
Please watch the YouTube video so you can see what Jared's doing right now.
It's not even like that.
It is.
The other thing I will... Oh, we're going to say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. The other thing I will say is the twist of the picture being in the wallet. Even though this is the second time I've seen this, the
You
first
forgot?
time I'm like, oh, it's not so obviously going to be in the wallet. Like, I just saw that twist coming like a mile away.
But it doesn't matter because it's not about that.
It's not a big deal.
And it's actually
not.
funny. He's like,
a
no,
nitpick.
it's in the wallet. I
It's a-
thought that would be fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, maybe you could have been a little more specific. What is he, direct? Like, that's
Director,
kind of a
yeah.
pretty important thing. He's like, well, I just thought it was fun.
I did relate to that. I felt that.
I do like the, it's me, it's Walter Mitty. And he's like, well, what are you doing
It's
here?
just like, what? Like, that's a triple take on that.
I do like how the photo pic for the cover is Walter looking at negatives.
That was...
Well, or not negatives, whatever. Would those be negatives outside?
Was it looking at a negative or was it looking at like a contact sheet? I don't remember.
I think
It
it
was
was
a contact sheet.
yeah.
Because yeah, like that was a really.
Although it did have light through it, so I don't know.
Oh, so maybe it was negatives.
Maybe somewhere in the middle bit of those two, I don't know.
Can you like?
But I was gonna say I don't think that you would be able to hold up a negative to the sunlight and have it.
It's like looking at an eclipse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go blind.
Or the sheet would go blank.
Or you both go blank.
How would a person go blank, Jared?
Are you okay? He did that to me a couple of weeks ago.
What?
Yeah.
That one was on purpose. We have to bring up, going back to the music, we have to bring up the use of Space Oddity.
Oh yes.
It's a pretty that's the turning point of
Ground
the movie.
control to
Other than, like, the
major
wake up, you could say, but then the...
No, that
The
is the
space-
turning point of the movie when he enters the helicopter and
Yeah.
you can feel the camera just change.
And it's Kristen Wiig starts it, and then it goes into the Bowie version, and
That's the thing is I said before, I'll say it again. You can tell that Ben Stiller is a fantastic director, and this is him learning how to direct. I really like.
Which is funny because he'd been directing since the early 90s.
Yeah, he directed Zoolander.
Yeah, that is true.
Zoolander.
He did Zoolander.
The Cable Guy was like 95.
Tropic
Reality
Thunder.
Bites.
Tropic Thunder.
That was the one I missed earlier. Tropic Thunder. The big one I missed.
Never seen that movie. Don't
is
want to see that movie.
Fantastic.
I
You would
remember
say-
having fun.
It's one of, it is maybe one of my favorite comedies ever.
I thought that was This Is the End.
Yeah,
This is the end.
I actually might change my mind on that. I think Tropic Thunder is fantastic.
I'm
Because
so
from
glad
what we
he didn't-
recollect, Tropic Thunder doesn't have very what's a good
Robert Downey Jr.
harmful jokes
Robert
about
Downey Jr. in blackface.
sexual assault.
Yeah. Okay, the Robert Downey Jr. blackface.
Is that your response? Just yeah.
Yeah. But no, Robert Downey Jr. blackface is one of the best things to come out of that movie. And I know that's going to
Oh,
sound really
boy.
bad,
Oh,
but
boy.
if you watch
so
that
Walter
movie,
Mitty.
you will understand
There we
the
go.
context. It is great.
Maybe you should move states now that you just said that.
We're gonna get canceled.
Just watch the
We-
movie and you'll
he's the one who
understand
did
the
it.
context. Just
He's a part of us, though. It's like that. Those dudes that got canceled earlier in the year, because the one dude was doing bad stuff.
Like Try Guys or something.
Yeah,
People are
yeah.
Canceled. Everyone loves the Try Guys. I
they
still
sti-
like the Try Guys.
Are they
Keep it-
still doing stuff after
They're
that
not
dude?
as- they are
Yeah.
absolutely still doing stuff.
Are you sure?
Absolutely, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen several of their videos.
Okay.
Walter Mitty.
Walter Mitty.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Jake for one thing that I don't think works as well is there's a lot of the Stillerisms of like sillier comedy from your Tropic Thunders and Zoolander that there's not a lot of them, but when they're in there, they don't quite fit.
Him coming out of the ice mountain cover is one.
Yeah.
The X-ray one is another.
Yeah,
Oh, that was so out of place.
it's so-
That
it
just
feels
felt-
weird. It's
I don't.
it's funny in the moment, and then you think about it, you go, that's kind of a weird transition from this pretty, what's a good word, like,
serious.
well, but it's like this like peaceful kind of, like soccer game up there, which you said,
Yeah.
I thought he had to save air. That's not that much of a drop.
That's true.
But you go from that to
And they're out
weird,
there without
weird.
coats on or anything like that, and grass is growing. Now I don't know anything about the mountains, but that doesn't seem like it tracks to me.
I think the bigger thing would be we transitioned from this like fun soccer game to him getting beat up
Yeah, it was
like that, and
was
it looked a
weird
little
scene.
wonky.
I mean, they did need a reason to bring Patton Oswalt physically into it.
I thank you for bringing that up. I freaking love Patton Oswalt, man. He's
the way they set that up is good. Where I was telling him earlier, as people point out online, they use online dating in a non-cringe way. You know how movies can make it kind of cringy about online, and they actually used it pretty well because it's just he needed help with something, and it turns into, hey, you haven't set up your profile. He's like, because I've not done anything. And as he goes into LA, and they're asking questions like, do you know anyone in
also
LA?
a very-
He does.
It's also a very easy way to give a character dump without having to show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a creative way to use
Exposition.
Exposition, yeah.
Another silly thing that I was laughing, but then it doesn't really, is the Benjamin Button.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It feels
that
like
one
it's
didn't
a-
land
it's a-
for me personally.
It's kind of it's
It's funny,
this movie
but it's
Simple
like,
Jack.
You're kind of right.
It's kind of that thing where it's like it's so goofy, and it makes you laugh. But this movie's a lot quieter than that type of movie. Not that it's a completely quiet movie,
It's
but
definitely not.
it's a lot
But, like,
quieter than that, and a lot
don't-
quirkier than silly. And that's one of those silly moments. Where,
I don't know though, because you kind you kind of have to weigh it against the fact that it's happening in his head. It's not like it's trying to like the X-ray thing is something that actually happened to him, which I think makes it a little bit different than the Benjamin Button joke where it's happening in his head, and like there's that big action fight sequence between him and
Adam
Beard
Scott.
Guy.
Adam Scott.
with Stretch Armstrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like you gotta weigh that like, and it's early in the movie too, so
Yeah, I will say that moment where he's on the phone with Patton the first time. He looks over and he jumps into the building, Bourne style, and
Yeah.
saves her dog.
yeah, her dog.
And I remember thinking, the thing that I connected to was the daydream. The daydream ends, and he's still on the phone, and he missed the train. Everyone's gone, and he's just standing there. And I go, that's happened to me before, where I like move and like look or maybe say something, realize I'm not. I just said that out loud. What am I doing?
Also, right after that scene, that reminded me. This came out in 2014, so
13,
which also checks out because I was super into After Effects at the time, which I still am, but I don't use it as often. And I wanted to do, and Jake, you might know where this is going, where I wanted to do like the text on the all the surfaces.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was a very creative way, and it's also like when he got the text at more closer to the end where it like showed up on the mountain. I like the way that they.
That never works as well as you want it to.
It never does.
Unless you absolutely plan it ahead of time.
Yes.
And you know the exact angle at which you are looking at the building.
Yes.
Which, obviously, big Hollywood budget-ish, they know that.
They will
but
actually
like
plan it out.
me shooting a video and then, oh, this would be so cool, and then trying to do it is like,
it's like,
it's not going to work.
Well, no, that's the same thing. I literally went through that with
I feel like, and I won't say the title, I think there's another movie coming up on your list that does similar things with on-screen.
The next one.
Yeah, on-screen captions and graphics.
Do you want to keep it as a tease and not say
we'll
It's
say it at
definitely the
end.
next one. I will tell you one thing. After the debacle of Looper, which was what? If this is 7, that was 9 then.
9 or 10.
That was 9.
It was 9. I was really scared to watch this because Looper, I thought I loved it. And if you listen to our episode, which I hope you did because we're really interesting to talk about,
And if not, go back and watch it.
especially with my top 10 movies.
Might as well. Just saying.
Especially with my top 10 movies. I really watching it again, I don't like it.
Looper.
Yes. Looper. And I was very scared that this was
Gonna happen again.
Gonna swing the same way because like in my head, this is a very precious movie to me.
Came out around the same time.
Yep.
It did.
A year after.
Yep.
Loved it when you first watched it. Even though you did watch this earlier this year, like 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
As of filming this, but the point being, like, what if after one hiccup on the list like that means it could happen again?
And Looper is a pretty big hit because I've always been a Looper stan,
I love Looper.
and I just don't think I like it anymore. I mean, it's fine, but I don't see what I saw in it 10 years ago, and I was very worried about this because I connected on this at a very personal level.
I will say, it's personal level, going back, I do wish that his mom and his sister were in it more because I really did enjoy them.
Yeah,
in
more
it.
Shirley MacLaine,
Rizzo.
please.
And more also
Catherine Hahn.
This was a little mini Parks and Rec reunion because it had Catherine Hahn and Adam Scott in it. Heck yeah. And I'm a Catherine Hahn stan as well.
You're going to have to remind me which one Catherine Hahn is.
His
Sister.
Okay.
And she was also Agatha. And
That's right. That's why she
She's
looked
in a lot
familiar.
of
oh,
stuff.
I just thought that was a newer thing that
Wasn't she the voice of Doc Ock in Spider-Verse?
She was. Yeah, she was.
Among, like I said, million things she's in character.
And she's fantastic. I love her, and she was great. I just wanted more of them. I wanted because they were like.
There's
really
an interesting dynamic there because you have when you figure out the dad stuff, which the phone call from the Papa John's in Iceland, which I don't think there is a Papa John's in Iceland that I read, but which was funny. It was funny, of course, it's Papa John's, and I like the little detail of he got out of there because it was too much for him to be sitting in there. And he's on the phone, and it is kind of a straight up telling what it is, but I think the way it's written, I liked. And when you know all that, it's like, I kind of wanted more because, like, that piano was so important.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how his sister's kind
sold.
of. Yeah, and then his sister, like, it's like she's in Greece. And that is an important, just a small important thing for the end, where it's like, hey, you want to go see Greece in a weird old church?
yeah.
And, like, it's almost like she's busying herself to hide from that, even though it has been like 25 years.
And I bet you're right. That's probably exactly what they were trying to do.
There probably wasn't enough time for it, though.
Yeah, because it
feels
2
like
hours.
it's something they probably shot, but
I wonder if you're right. If there's some deleted scenes with more of them.
I should have checked. I watched my DVD copy. Did you watch your copy?
I watched my Blu-ray. Yeah.
So it's like I could have checked. It was fun to get the DVD out because the sleeve was on it, and it had a picture for like. What is it? Shutterfly? Like a coupon. I bought it from Walmart for like $15 10 years ago.
The sleeve I have is him standing on the shark in the ocean
Oh my
with the
gosh.
briefcase. It's funny. And it's reflective too, like it's a holographic
Yeah,
type thing.
but mine is just him running through.
The air.
I think it's the area.
I think I know
No, or it might be the skyline. Yeah, that's the air one
the air,
over
the-
New
I
York.
think
poster.
I know that poster.
Yeah,
I know
there's
that
there's
thing.
another poster where he's just running through like Times Square. That I'm looking at.
Pulling
I think there's
Tom
a lot
Cruise.
of running in this.
No, they didn't shut down Times Square for that shot.
What, you don't think they had the budget for this?
No,
I'll bet
actually,
you this thing was made. Oh,
or
jeez.
guess, yeah. Guess.
I mean, we could probably, yeah.
All right, let's see here. So this was made back in 2013, so a
Yep.
little bit less as well. I'm gonna go 7 million.
10.
90.
Really?
90 million?
The special effects
I suppose.
Oh,
got some pretty big names in there. It made 188, so it made a
so
profit.
yeah.
They didn't market it a ton.
I remember the marketing for this.
I remember it, but I
I
don't think it
apparently
was pushed
also
a
like
lot.
movies that are mismarketed.
Well, that's the other thing because we're not expecting anything.
Yeah, those
Because
are,
we saw the trailers. We're like, it's a good trailer. That's where I think they used "Wake Up and One." They might have used "Step Out," which is another great song of that
I
soundtrack.
was super into that's the reason I wanted to see this is because the trailer made it look super interesting. I'm like,
It is
okay,
super interesting.
It's good.
There was something else I was going to say. Oh, we should talk about this because I think it's one area in which you and I disagree about the film. So, how do I put it? I'm going to start with some backstory. When I first watched this, when I was 26 or 27 or whatever it was, I think it was 27 at the time.
You would have just turned 20.
It was right
7.
before I met my now wife. So
You had just turned 27.
yes. So when I first watched this, I had always wanted, you know how the daydreams get less and less. I didn't appreciate that 10, 11 years ago. I wanted them to lean more into it. Now when I watch it this time, I really appreciate the way he, the more he,
The journey side of it, you're saying.
as he comes out, the more he deals with his past trauma, the more he escapes that, the less he daydreams because the less he needs the crutch of the daydreams. One thing I genuinely appreciated about this movie is it's kind of separated into two journeys, right? Like he goes to Iceland, the volcano erupts, he comes back, and he gives the skateboard to the kid. Well, when that happens, he comes into the apartment and sees what's her name's ex-husband and just kind of assumes that something went on, and it pushes him back into the trauma space.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that, how I felt like that reflected at least my life in that way. For you, I know you had said that you think that part of it stops the movie dead.
Felt
Not-
a little
not dead, maybe not-
contrived, just a little bit.
Not dead, but I don't want to say that I felt like it was necessary, but I felt like it gave the moment. I felt like it gave the movie a chance to return to reality and reset, because that's when he finds out that, what's his name, Connor, photographer's name,
I have it right here. Where
Oh, the photographer's name?
Sean O'Connell.
Sean O'Connell. That's where he figures out that he was in his mom's house and took a picture of the piano and all that stuff. And I think it was needed. I think if it just kept rolling with the journey, I don't think it would have.
Mom, why didn't you tell me Sean was here? I did. You went off to your zone out place. It was at the grocery store, she said. That's
Yep.
right.
No, and that was a good part. I did like that. Like when they were, it was going back to him, his mom, and his sister. When they're all together, I think it works. It does work really well.
Yeah. The Clementine cake stuff is fun too.
It
How
makes me want to try Clementine.
how it's all over the. I mean, make us some. We'll have it on the podcast.
Sure, I'll try it.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a baker, but
I was
see
gonna
how it
say
goes.
baking is very different than cooking.
Baking is I'm not good at following.
Baking a cake is very.
I'm not
even
good
very
at. Sam
different.
is phenomenal at baking. I can't bake for crap. I can't. It's the whole following instructions to a T. I like to add a little more pizzazz to it. That usually ends
You know that, don't you, Jared?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I genuinely appreciate that moment of the movie, and I also kind of see it as like the turn where, he throws away the wallet, and then his mom, like in hindsight, you can see that, you see her look at it and you go, oh yeah, she's gonna pull it out. But when when it it's moving very quickly when you're watching it in a theater, you don't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's more of big road movie fan. So when he's doing all the traveling and adventuring, it's like, this is when I'm enjoying it. And he goes back to New York, and it feels more like a preference.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, I was kind of enjoying it. Like him doing the skateboarding thing with the rocks. Longboarding, or whatever. It's cool. I did think though, like, wouldn't that rip the cloth he had? Wouldn't that just completely shred that cloth?
I'm trying to think about it.
I don't think it. I think if you put enough pressure, I don't know. He uses the rocks to balance himself, not necessarily to like.
It's a little bit of
rub.
both.
I didn't think it was about the balance.
No, I'm pretty sure it's about the balance.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was mostly about like when he has to make those really.
I think
really
it is a little bit, but I don't
It's
think he's
definitely
like going down the road with his hands always on there.
It's just when he's seeing those curves.
Yeah, which that is holy crap.
You okay over
That is one thing that I thought was funny. Like Rich emailing this random dude that his mother saw one time at a park, and he gave him a skateboard, which is nice. But then emailing him thank you with a video of him on the skateboard. But what's like? That's just kind of like 2023 brain going on. I think. I don't think
it probably. Do you think it would have been better if it's like he had his mom email for him?
Maybe
saying thank you.
Well, at the end, like she turns the camera back to her and she smiles for like a second. That's what the frame ends on.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it okay. But the other thing is that he's riding the longboard in those bowls, and I'm like, okay, my knowledge of skateboarding is limited to Tony Hawk games, but I don't think that longboards are used in bowls like that.
I didn't think they were either, but I also don't. I'm very little, so
I'm just happy that they didn't show him doing a kickflip on it, because I know that using longboards for street tricks like that, I'm pretty sure is relatively new within that culture.
And difficult because they're
long
and bigger, and it's harder to get into.
I do like the conversation. Oh, what skateboard does he have? I don't know. It's oblong.
Yeah. That was a good moment. It really was. Well, guys, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Or, you had a mohawk? Your dad let you have a mohawk? He shaved my head.
It's a good dad move. Did he say something like that? Good dad, yeah. It's a great dad move, honestly. If your kid wants a mohawk, go for it. Why not? Let them live their life.
Especially if school pictures are that day.
Yes, even better.
They'll
look back at that picture in 20 years and think, oh my God.
That's assuming they're still taking school photos. I don't even know.
Oh, they are. I'm sure they are. I just think yearbooks are still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know where any of my yearbooks are.
I probably don't have any of mine left. Oh, no, I do. They're in a big tub in my basement.
I was wondering if they might be at my parents' house.
You still have stuff at your parents' house.
It's just
what a loser.
It's just,
You still have stuff at your parents' house too, namely yourself.
My stuff.
Well, to be fair, I live in a very small apartment that I don't have room for everything.
I thought you had a house.
I would love a house.
You have a lot of spare room right now in that apartment.
That one wasn't me. That one wasn't
I'm
me.
just saying. You got that spare. You do have that spare room over there for all like 8 guitars you have.
I have a lot of guitars. Yeah.
Just shove it all in there.
Ukuleles. Yeah. Like I said, it's just a couple things. There's in my parents' house, but that's a different story. Anyway, you guys have anything else you want to mention about Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Anything more, Jake, for your 7th favorite?
No, love it. Continue to love it. I'm really happy. I even watching it last night, I was laying there on the couch going, I love this.
It's a good movie.
I really connect with it.
It really is. And dang it if Dirty Paws going down the mountain is just not one of the best scenes of that year. It really is.
Fair.
La la la. La, la, la. Why? You're not yelling at me for singing. I appreciate that.
You're not really singing. You're just kind of making noise.
You sounded like a Teletubby.
La la.
Yup.
Tinkly winkly.
See the purple one?
Tinky Winky. Isn't it?
It's Tinkly winkly.
I'm looking this up. Right now we have...
I'm showing my age. I have no idea.
You really?
I know.
I'm sure they were popular.
I know what a Teletubby is.
It's Tinky Winky.
No.
I'm looking
I bet you
it.
Woody Harrelson loves that one.
Tinky Winky, La La, Dipsy,
Like Twinkie.
and Poe.
Oh.
Sounds like Twinkie.
Oh.
Anyway, if you
It's a
liked-
Zombieland joke.
If you guys
I
liked
got
what
that.
you heard
Are
here,
you sure?
Yeah.
and if you want to listen to more of our show,
Shows it's better than a 3 billboards joke.
you can follow us online. Jared, where can they follow us online?
You can follow us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the funny TikTok.
Where there will now be many Teletubbies.
Yes.
And you can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell, rate, and comment on all those
Memes?
Apps?
Thank you.
Shorts?
I was really confused when you were leading me.
Wait.
Like, where do you...
And
Apps.
check
Are we
out our
going to
Groovy
Applebee's?
website.
Absolutely. Another fun way to...
Yeah, our apps are half off. They're free.
Wait, if they're free...
What's
then
halftime
what's
zero?
half of...
Zero!
I'm going to start doing edits where I edit you completely out of the episodes. Because you do about half the talking.
I'm half off, baby. Anyway, thank you for listening to today's episode. If you want to check out next week's episode, Jake, what is your 6th favorite pick that they should watch?
Is it the other one that's like... It's Stranger Than Fiction.
All right.
You've not
never seen
never
Stranger
seen
Than
it?
Fiction.
It's
It's
best
Will
role
Ferrell.
Will Ferrell
Yeah,
has ever
I
had.
know, yeah, well, probably is. So
It's the only movie I can stand him in other than the Lego movie.
All right, I'm excited.
His second best movie is Get Hard.
Well,
Not Step Brothers.
Step Brothers is fantastic.
Not Talladega Nights. Not Blades of Glory. Wait, hold on. Are all those movies the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
they are.
then.
You are not on fire, Ricky Bobby. But you know what is on fire? Our podcast. So make sure to check in next week.
That's because we're doing my top 10 right now.
And that's what we're gonna watch, Stranger Than Fiction. So yeah, tune in next week to watch that. So from all of us here at Obsolete Media, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We'll see you next time.